Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby.
You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You're the blackest one in this room,
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on America's soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thank you for tuning in, everybody, on this fine Tuesday. Truly a fine Tuesday it is. And it's a pleasure, an absolute pleasure, to be back with you today on this fine Tuesday. Okay? We're back. In the chair, American Anchor Baby. We got a few things, we got some things to get into. I definitely want to be getting into the CEO killer. They're the highly trained assassins. Turns out it's not. It turns out it was some hateful liberal. Remember I was telling you? I don't know. I don't think it's a highly trained assassin. I think it's a highly hateful liberal. Turns out I may have been more on the money than I thought. We're going to get into that and what people are missing about it. What people are so shallow about. So the CEO killer. We'll get into Daniel Penny as well. I know we've talked about him, but we're going to clip farm it well today. We're going to clip farm. We're going to grow the channel. We're going to put out the Daniel Penny video. And maybe if you want to get involved, look, if you want to get involved, if you cared for me at all, you don't even like this stream, you don't donate, you don't super chat. Maybe you even dislike me. You hate me maybe. You think I'm part of a racist network. We're putting out hateful rhetoric. But if any part of you, even a little tiny part of you, even liked me a little bit, you'd call in and clip farm with me. Let's go viral. If you disagree, you can call 888-775-3773. And if you have something else on your mind, we'll get to you as well. You could call. Like I said, it's the number in the studio, 888-775-3773. I'm streaming on rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. What's up, Rumble? What's up, DLive? DLive.tv/Gorgonzola. And I'm live on punchy.tv/Anchor Baby. Save that one, okay, folks? Punchy.tv. We're live. Very cool. All right, so I think that's all of our homework. I want to get right into some of this stuff. I missed the gray screen. Thanks, Bond, in the chat, which I don't think is the real Bond. So thank you, Bond, for missing the gray screens from yesterday. You know, I got it in my head. There was no stopping me. Once I got the gear, I went into manic mode. That was wrong. And there was just no stopping me testing all that out yesterday. Kind of truly a messed up show. I was so manic. I put my camera on Joel's car. I'm like, Joel, I'm putting this on your car. It's rubber. It's okay. But we got some cool stuff in the works, in the pipeline. So those who got a little taste yesterday, thanks for being there. We got some cool stuff in the works. Big time. We're using the tech. We're getting futuristic. We're getting futuristic. We're getting cyberpunk. What's going on? I want to get into this. Okay. So you heard about this CEO killer. And like it turns out, like I said, I was right. It wasn't a highly trained assassin. People were wondering if this was someone with experience. This individual ends up killing a CEO of a company, health insurance, does it in a crowded area in New York, slips away, masked, and people are wondering, he had a silencer. Is this guy trained? This guy has experience. Oh, wait, you know what? Maybe he doesn't. He ended up going to Starbucks, kind of messy. What kind of assassin? What kind of highly trained assassin buys Starbucks? Turns out it wasn't a highly trained assassin. It was just some hateful liberal. Remember, I was wondering, this guy, I'm wondering if it's just some liberal with some kind of anti-CEO, anti-capitalist bend. And it turns out I may have just been right. 5:41 a.m. Busy this individual appears on a video at 54th Street and 6th Avenue, walking back and forth in the area of the Hilton Hotel, where United Healthcare's parent company, United Healthcare Group, was holding its annual investor conference. Okay. And it's at this time, about an hour later. So this individual is seen on video. Okay. About an hour later, this individual shoots Thompson, the executive arrives alone on foot, having walked from a hotel across the street. This man then flees. This man shoots Brian Thompson in the back, setting off a manhunt where it seems like he expertly dodges law enforcement, seemingly vanishing into Central Park before dumping a backpack even. Bikes are getting dumped. Backpacks are getting dumped. Vanishing, being seen much later on video at a bus station. After the attack, investigators find the words delay, deny, and depose written in permanent marker on ammunition at the scene. The words mimic a phrase used by insurance industry critics. So you start getting a picture of this individual who's been named Luigi Nicholas Mangione. Luigi Mangione. Think I look like him? Some people. I know my hair is curly. I know it can be pretty curly haired. But hold up. Wait, hold up. Thoughts, chat? I don't know. Is the anchor baby looking like a killer? So, Mangione. Whoa, where'd I go? Mangione is the named individual, 26 years old. They say he's a totally normal guy. Mangione graduated from Gilman School, prestigious all-boys school in Baltimore. University of Pennsylvania, Ivy League, University of Philadelphia, with a master's and a bachelor degree in computer science, mathematics. They said the people that knew him would say he's a totally normal guy, just a totally normal guy, but you start getting an idea of what bothered him so much with this delay, deny, depose. He seemed to hold a major grudge against the healthcare industry. Reports are saying that police found him with writings suggesting an ill will toward corporate America, with writings that read, "These parasites had it coming." So he had a big thing against corporate America, the healthcare industry. May have even had some personal relations with the whole thing, himself having gone through the system. Who did he kill? He killed Brian Thompson, 50 years old, father of two, United Healthcare CEO. You know, this guy, he was apparently slammed for his reported approval of a malicious AI system that denied 90% of patient coverage, which was found to particularly target the elderly, say the reports, okay? No, he wasn't named in any writings or manifestos by this Mangione. But that was his target. That's who he killed. Father of two, 50 years old. You know, You know, you got to wonder, was Brian Thompson even a good target for his vendetta? Which we'll get into more here in a moment. It seemed like he definitely had one for the industry. And this killing, in fact, has evoked reactions from other people in the public that kind of point to similar ideation, some similar thoughts. At least it's evoked responses from people in the public that shows that they at least share some of these criticisms. That some of these people at least share these criticisms alongside Luigi Mangione. Okay, and you got to wonder, was Brian Thompson even in the unreasonable mind of someone who wants to commit violence, but at least has some sort of manifesto, some sort of reasoning, was it even a good target in that framework? So you may know this name, Bill Burr. You know Bill Burr, comedian. Bill Burr. He married that black woman. You got to. I talked about him recently. I think his comedy, his whole vibe has maybe changed. But you know Bill Burr a little bit. He's the guy. His comedy is like the man's man. I'm the man's man, and I say things that are a little off color. Bill Burr goes off on United CEO killing. Here's a little bit of some of those reactions I was telling you about. How about we get into this? United CEO. Here's Bill Burr talking about it, okay? Let me unmute some of this. Here's Bill Burr talking about the United CEO killing. Check this out.
Paul, what's going on in New York? We were just talking about it. That CEO got fucking whacked.
Oh, my God, dude.
You know what's funny? I was sitting there reading an article, guy. They go, oh, my God, he's such a great guy. He had a wife and kids, and he's such a great guy. And then you find out he and the other guys he's working for are getting sued for $121 million for dumping a stock and not letting the other people know. It's like, there's your motive. Nancy Pelosi just made $9 million on some shit. They're gangsters, dude. Fucking gangsters. And then one of them gets whacked or something. They're like, oh my God, he was such a good guy. It's a dirty game, Paul. Healthcare, dirty game. Paul, what's going on in New York? We were just talking about it.
It's a dirty game. So that's the clip repeating. It's a dirty game, Bill says. It's a dirty, dirty game. And these are gangsters. These are gangsters. You hear about these CEOs getting killed. You're like, oh, it's so bad. He's got a wife and kids. But then you turn out, this is Bill. This is what I'm reiterating what he's saying. They're just gangsters. They're stealing stock and this, or you hear this and that. So, you know, that's his take. That's his take, you know. A lot of this is echoed too, not just by the fringe of the left, but other people. You know, it's like these fat cats. They got the money and the capitalists. These insurance companies, they don't care about the people. But I'm hearing Bill Burr, and I can't help but wonder, Bill Burr and others with similar commentary, I can't help but wonder the question I have, what's the big take? Like, what's the big take? Because it almost seems deep, right? Man, these fat cats, and they got money, and they don't care. But what are they saying? What is the big take behind that? The insurance companies are killing people? The insurance companies are making people sick. The insurance companies are killing people. Like, what's the deep take, for real? People are saying this crap like it's a deep or measured or honest take. Like, they're saying stuff like, oh, well, you know, I definitely don't condone killing. Look, I don't condone killing. It's a mess. But these insurance companies, you know, it's a dirty game, they're saying. You know, I don't condone killing, but it's a dirty game. It's a really dirty game, they're saying. Like it's some kind of deep take.
It is a dirty game.
Yikes.
Very true. In the wake of the killing of this CEO, people started sharing around the fact that Anthem Healthcare, they've been planning this change where they're going to put a time limit on anesthesia. If your surgery, so you're knocked out, you have nothing to do with it. If your surgery goes over how long they think it should take, then they were going to mass deny those claims. So in the wake of this killing and more attention on the, depravity of the United States healthcare system, this decision was something that people really picked up on, that the profit motive for all of these actors, whether it's the hospitals or the health insurers or the pharmaceutical companies or any of these different sort of mafia-like cartels within our healthcare system. Methadone clinics. And I mean, it's the same thing. It's another part of our healthcare system, and the same profit motives are applied there, where, you know, they're supposed to be giving counseling. They're by and large not, of the way that these disgusting profit motives should not be at the core of our healthcare. And it leads to patients getting gouged and people getting sick and us having a disastrous life expectancy. I mean, this really is kind of the root of the problem. So dynamic.
I'm not going to white knight for the healthcare company, but I also want people to understand that this is part of why the American healthcare system is so crappy, is because the anesthesia, there is.
Amazing. So, yeah, you just heard, I wanted to play that for you because this is the vibe I'm trying to kind of show all of you, trying to paint this picture for you. They're saying it's a dirty game. It's a dirty, yeah, these insurance companies, you know, it's like, you know, killing, it's wrong. But, you know, these insurance companies, but what is the big take to say that, oh, it's a dirty game, these insurance, the way these methadone clinics, they're supposed to be giving them counseling, and it's like, what's really behind this criticism for someone speaking like that? You heard her say a disastrous life expectancy. So these insurance companies are at fault for a disastrous life expectancy now? These insurance companies are, these mafia cartel insurance companies are creating drug addicts? Like, what are you getting at? And you realize they're not really saying anything. It's a really useless commentary. Oh, but you know, these insurance companies are bad. Like, sure, maybe you can point out something like that, but what are they talking about here? It's just, I noticed there's a wrong perspective on the whole thing. It's like you take in stuff like Obamacare and the government trying to enforce and, you know, trying to force insurance companies to handle their business a certain way. You start realizing that somewhere along the way, someone and some people, some group wanted to force their dream that everybody should just be given health care, that everyone deserves a high life expectancy, that everyone deserves health care. And so they push this dream, but this pushing of the dream itself made the dream impossible. Now the insurance companies are having trouble. They can't really insure everybody. This whole business with the pre-existing conditions. You start noticing what I'm talking about in the language they use. The care that these mafia cartel companies are denying. They're denying what? Their care? Why do they deserve this care? Why do they deserve this life expectancy? A lot of assumptions here. You hear it in their language when they say stuff like the profit motives at the core of the healthcare industry. The profit motives. When you say something like that, you're assuming that everyone deserves what the healthcare industry is putting out, which costs money. It costs money. And what is holding up this healthcare industry? A profit motive. The very same motive that they're decrying is the very thing that holds up this free stuff that all these people are getting that they feel like they deserve. The pillar that holds it up is a profit incentive, a profit motive. You know, when I hear Bill Burr say that these are gangsters, these are just gangsters, it's so shallow. I realize just how shallow everyone is. Because the only scandalous thing about insurance companies price gouging and, you know, trying to use AI to deny the healthcare of people, like, so they're so soulless. The only scandalous thing about it is, I guess, greed. Oh, big whoop, you found greed. Guess what? The human heart is wicked. They say the healthcare is a dirty game. It's such a scandalous, mafiosi, dirty game. Life is a dirty game. I would love to see their reaction if I showed any of these individuals the dirty game they're trafficking in when they're buying some of their most basic goods, some of their clothes that they own, some of the basic, you know, goods and products they use as their everyday products. They would be shocked. They would go wide-eyed at the evil that they're supporting if they only knew the evil they're trafficking in, the child labor that they're trafficking in. If only they knew. You know, this is not a dismissal of this greed that I'm talking about, but it's to point out how shallow people are to go, oh my gosh, greedy people, greedy CEOs. like you found, like you uncovered a grand mystery. Yeah, welcome to the first step. You uncovered the darkness of the human heart. Let's start with you. Do you even know step one? You even know how to begin to deal with that? You wouldn't even know the first thing. And here you are trying to tell people what's going on. What's the nature of reality? And they think it's evil CEOs. evil CEOs. It's evil CEOs. Look, they're killing people. They're killing people. It's ridiculous. Evil CEOs are killing people. You see how shallow people are? They don't even know what they're talking about. Just going to the next thing. Thrills. After arresting Mangione, police found a black 3D printed pistol with a loaded Glock magazine and a black silencer that was also 3D printed in his backpack, says the criminal complaint. Oh, that's so cyberpunk, bro. Because I 3D printed a gun. You don't really hear much lyrics with 3D printing guns. It's really only like incel rappers. Yes, there's some of those. We might have to get into that. Cyberpunk 2024. Will the mega corporations rule the world? Will it only come down to individuals keeping us free? Now I'm just making stuff up. But you hear about these corporations and their executives. You know, you see this masked individual in a big city, almost evading arrest, hiding in the underneath the nose of the cameras of the city. An event of a single citizen of a once thought to be maybe safe and well protected city of those, as if you at least have money. So striking fear into the hearts of these corpos, suddenly spending all sorts of money. They're arming up. They're saying they're arming up, and spending money on private security firms, which has doubled. Corporate security spending has doubled in just less than a year. These people are protected more than presidency. Some statesmen of different countries sometimes. Reports are coming in that executives are deleting their biography pages from across different companies. They're taken down in response to this. You get this. You start taking in just how much of the healthcare industry has been gobbled up by private equity. Is that a word you even know? Private equity. You know how many big companies are just being gobbled up by the likes of, you've heard of the names Blackwater, these big equity firms that are just gobbling up different parts of the industry, farms, everything from farms, real estate, to healthcare, to hospitals, to insurance companies. Will Americans get everything from a single mega corporation? Who will own it all? Will it be Amazon? Will it be Elon? Will it be X? Elon Musk himself has said he wants X to be an everything company, an everything app. Who will it be? Who will it be? They're buying they're buying up all their they're getting their private equity they're getting military. They're getting protected more than the presidents. What is the incoming world? Neon and liberals with guns, 3D printed guns. What a mess. You start realizing why these corpos and politicians are starting to get worried. They're starting to sweat looking at the citizenry. Oh, what did we import? What have we let in? First we said to defund the police. Oopsies, we said defund the police. Now it's like our own corporate executives are at the mercy of this lack of law and order. Unprecedented. Oopsies, what have we done? And now, so yeah, they're being threatened. And where was I? First they said defund the police. I forgot where I was going, but Cyberpunk 2024. In fact, I got a super chat from John T. Psycho who says, I will never underestimate back pain in angry people. And I'm sure that's a reference to Luigi Mangione's back pain. In fact, it turns out the young male, the young angry male, was suffering from massive back pain. A back pain that left him, a back pain so intense that he couldn't be physically intimate with anyone, former landlord says. United Healthcare CEO, murder suspect Luigi Mangione was suffering terrible. What is all this? Look at this mess. This is their cyberpunk 2024 future. Ads everywhere. Unusable internet. What is this? Luigi Mangione was suffering terrible back pain to the point where it was not possible for him to have sex with anyone or date, his former landlord said. What a mess. Men are in a bad spot. You can't have sex anymore? You're going to just torpedo your life? You're just going to torpedo? Sex is a need. Sex is a basic need, some unchristian said, some unchristian psychologist said. Oh, some basic needs. What's his name? Maslow? Who the heck are you? He said, oh, sex is a basic need. You need sex. You need. And now you got people out here going nuts. R.J. Martin, who owns the co-living space in Hawaii that Mangione lived at for 6 months. Hold on, sorry. Revealed that he was in constant pain over a pinched nerve and misaligned spine. He knew that dating and being physically intimate with his back condition wasn't possible. How bad was it? Jeez. You don't need much, bro. Do you really need much for an intimate relationship? Do you need much? We see homies, we see people in wheelchairs missing legs, and they got themselves a little hyena. You're gonna tell me some back pain? You look like pretty muscular. Lord. Martin met Mangione in 2022, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, major back pain. I heard that that there was even a botched, his spine was kind of misaligned, Martin recalled. He said his lower vertebrae were almost like a half-inch off. It pinched a nerve. And I believe he even posted images of this x-ray of his on his own social media, according to this. It could even be Mangione had 5 books involving chronic back pain on his reading list. So all sorts of speculations are swirling over this being part of the motive behind what he did, okay? Chronic back pain, dealing with pain, overreactions. It's truly a mess. He seems pretty obstinate, already yelling at reporters, being brought in by some cops, if you saw that video. So, that's Luigi Mangione. That's Luigi Mangione. And some of the shallow outlook of how people look at this story, if you could see from Bill Burr and beyond. I wanted to give you another angle here, and you can call in 888-775-3773. I wanted to show you kind of like a different angle, or I don't know, whatever. Look, a continuation on this, because there's something quite interesting. There's been this constant march, and this is kind of important, especially for some of the people in my chat. You guys can get kind of wild with what you post on the internet. So listen up. This might be kind of important. Look, there's been this constant march, sometimes a mad dash towards a total capturing of the internet and the tools that would allow a manager of sorts to permanently associate you with your online identity, deep surveillance tools and behavioral archiving tools, facial recognition, all sorts of technology and concepts and policies for a capturing of the internet, and language that has expressed a desire to even make speech criminal, not only outside of the internet, not only on the internet like I'm talking about here, but outside of the internet. They call it hate speech. They hate the First Amendment. They want to put people. They're already doing that over in the UK, where certain posts get a visit from law enforcement to your front door. And there's this trend to this censorship that Republicans and Democrats both love, there's all sorts of trends, okay? They want to get rid of TikTok, not because they want to protect the children, but because they want to be the ones to surveil and control the algorithms that their citizenry are receiving. You can maybe somewhat understand some of that. But you understand this trend is important, having to do with this story. In fact, I'm thinking of one comedian that I like who jokes about unaliving CEOs. And I don't consider him too liberal, although he might be angry. And you know about angry people. You know how all angry people are liberals? Yeah, take that one in. I know of one comedian who jokes about those things, and I really do think he's just joking. You got to be aware of what's going on, okay? I want to play this clip for you and tell you what I'm talking about here if you're not following.
In some dark corners, this killer is being hailed as a hero. Hear me on this. He is no hero. The real hero in this story is the person who called 911 at McDonald's this morning.
In some dark corners, he says, there are people hailing this guy as a hero.
In some dark corners.
All right, we heard that. And I'm playing this clip of Josh Shapiro, Pennsylvania governor, for you to paint this picture for you. That there is this concept, this desire to not only hook up whatever you say online to your personal identity, but criminalize it. And yeah, make you a criminal for things you said online, things you may not have even meant. So you can't mess around, okay, with jokes, even if you're somewhat in the rules, even if you believe you didn't quite do anything wrong or broke the rules or broke the law. If you're white, if you're decent, if you're reasonable, if you're black but support Trump, if you're anything like that, be mindful online. Start having a more serious and intentional relationship with how you interact with the world, even if it's anonymous, even if it's all that. You can't mess around with these things, joking around, oh yeah, that's this or that CEO, if I had a gun, blah, blah, like, you just can't be messing around with that, even if you didn't mean anything, even if you're just joking, because free speech isn't really an ideal that's cared about by so many people in America, especially with all the people that have been imported. It's a different America. It really is it really reminds me of a third world mentality in America, where things like these ideals like free speech don't matter, where these politicians and corporations have been totally okay with supporting something like defund the police, and then they turn around and they bring in all sorts of people, and these people don't care about decency in the subway. You're stuck with them in this enclosed tube. The homeless are venerated. They're treated like they're great people or just victims, and you realize you can't mess around with this stuff. There are evil people trying to tie up my show and bond with this stupid crap, saying that what we put out is hateful rhetoric, and we're going to cause, terrorism or horrible acts from people. Like we're somehow responsible for the actions of someone else. What an evil! You have to be an evil person to say that about us. When we just talk about loving all people, there is no reason for this violence. There is no reason for this Luigi Mangione. It's not even a reasonable target. All the people with their measured response have no idea what they're talking about. And that because this is what the children of the lie want. They want us getting mad. They want people out there killing CEOs. They want to tie it up with white people. They want to tie it up with people who appreciate the Second Amendment. They want to say all of those people are vigilantes, incels, they're racist. They would be happy to choke out a black person to death in the subways and all that. They're ready to do that. They're ready to do that. So it's never about this ridiculous anger, this violence. What we're always talking about here is you have to overcome anger, and that your anger is taking you down a bad path, a very, very bad path, okay? So I'm just putting that out there. You understand? All right. check this out too. On incels, take this in. You got to take this in. Let me show you an image. Let me show you a little image. This is an advertisement, okay? This is an advertisement for a social media. You may not have even heard of this because it's who's even on this Blue Sky? Anybody on Blue Sky? Who's on Threads? There's these social medias popping up in response to Elon Musk, the evil Elon Musk, for daring to let people be a little bit freer on X. It's not even that free, and say things freely. The evil anti-Semite Elon Musk has allowed people to speak freely on X. How horrible. So they started creating other social medias. Let me show you an ad. This image is a poster for this social media called Blue Sky. Blue Sky is supposed to be, I guess, like a Twitter. This is an ad for Blue Sky. Look, it says no incels, and it has a big no sign on what seems to be a little blonde gamer, maybe a little blonde. It seems like a young image, but a blonde male. A white blonde male yelling into his headset. Maybe he's gaming. Maybe he's playing Call of Duty. He said, you glizzer, you stupid glizzer, you can't beat me in this video game. And it says no incels, and it's an ad for Blue Sky, as you can see. And this is interesting. It really, really is interesting for a number of reasons. Now, what the heck is Blue Sky? What the frig is Blue Sky? Blue Sky is a micro-blogging social media service similar to Twitter. Users can share short text messages, images, and videos in short posts colloquially known as skeets. Hey, yo. Sorry, kids. I didn't mean to. I'm reading Wikipedia. Short posts colloquially known as skeets. Hey, yo. Anyways, so that's Blue Sky. They're saying no incels. Okay, no incels on our website. Wow, so discriminatory and hateful. And these are the liberals, I guess. These are your liberals, folks, I guess I'm supposed to gather. That these are the loving liberals. They're so loving. These are the loving liberals who say love is love. And you can't discriminate. You're not allowed to discriminate. You can't do that. That's hateful. It's kind of a really amazing poster because they're lying. They're totally lying because they're saying no incels because they don't want any hate. We don't want any hate on our platform. But they're such liars. They're such liars. They, in fact, love hate on their platforms. They have no problem with it. Do you guys know the name Taylor Lorenz? She's some sort of journalist, and I know she went sort of viral because of some stuff she said recently. But I don't care too much about that. This Taylor Lorenz, I want to show you a post from this individual, Taylor Lorenz, on Blue Sky, no less. On Blue Sky. In response to the whole United CEO killing and all that, former Washington Post journalist Taylor Lorenz came under fire as she shared the name and picture of Blue Cross CEO in an apparent attempt to send an online mob in the executive's direction. She wrote, "And people wonder why we want these executives dead." Here's another one for you. Taylor Lorenz woke up to see this spammed in my group chats. CEO down, ha ha ha, so cute. And they're celebrating death. So cute. This is your liberal atheist society, so secular, so nice, so loving, so much. At least we don't discriminate. Liberals are so immoral. That's literally their standard. At least I'm not racist. Meanwhile, they're pushing in these people they call incels. They're already making all sorts of assumptions, judging them. They really have no problem with hate. Their platforms are full of it, as you can see. They're full of angry people. They have a problem with the so-called incels not because they're hateful. As you can see, their platforms are full of it. They have a problem with the incels because the incels challenge their little democracy. They challenge their little worldview of no discrimination because they constantly show this kind of stuff to their faces. They make them eat their own vomit by showing them just how discriminatory, hateful, immoral, and unreasonable they usually are. And yeah, sure, maybe the incels are mad themselves, but they're judging because they don't care about hate. They're clearly fine with hate on their platforms. So they don't have a moral leg to stand on. So that's what the incels and Taylor Lorenz, and just how evil this world is. No incels. It's like a white, you saw. So that's the story with all of that in the United CEO. That's pretty much it on that, okay? 888-775-3773. I just wanted to show that to you. Let's do some super chats real quick. And then we're going to do something else. We're going to clip farm Daniel Penny. I need to put together a nice segment where I put out the nice clip. I can't believe I've just now clip farming. We're going to grow this channel, so it's going to be fun. And if you want to help, call me. If you disagree, call me. If you cared for me at all, even a little bit, or your little ego wants to go viral with me, consider it. Your little ego might like it. You disagree, call me, 888-775-3773. We're about to get it to Daniel Penny and clip farm this all the way and put this all together. Because you still might find this quite interesting despite hearing about it so much. Because, yeah, look, you might like this. So let's get into this. We'll do super chats after. Daniel Penny. Check it out. Daniel Penny is apparently drinking beers. He's apparently knocking back the brews already. In celebration, Daniel Penny celebrated the not guilty verdict with a beer at a local NYC bar. I disavow. No. This isn't the... I'm just messing around. It's an inside joke with some friends here at the network about being all Christian. I disavow going to a bar, Daniel Penny. But he's chilling at the bar, having a beer, being a free man. It's an amazing thing, and I personally have no problem with it. A whole bunch of people, Whoopi Goldberg and others, they're all on their programs talking about, hey, Daniel Penny, did you really have to go have a beer? It's like you killed someone. You killed someone. So you want him to go around hanging head low, being all pathetic? People really show how nasty and evil they are and how much they really love evil, and they really love evil. They want people with their heads hanging low. They want people to show guilt. What a nasty thing. Like, let's say someone dies. Hey, you're a little too happy right now. You should show some respect. So you want people to be, you want darkness in the world. You want people to go around like this with their heads down. Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry for what? Let's say he was, they charged him guilty of a criminally negligent homicide or even manslaughter, the bigger charge. You want him to be sulking then too? It was an accident. So you got Daniel and the verdict. Daniel Penny and the verdict, if we may for a moment. You know, crime, as you know, has been in a constant rise ever since George Floyd, as you know this. And they were saying defund the police for God's sakes. They're saying defund the police. And it's like, oh, what's going on with crime? It's like this big mystery, like as if you don't know why a lack of law enforcement and a veneration of criminals would suddenly make a crime explode. Well, you got some in the field reporting, some hard data for you that yes, doing that increases crime. Surprise. So that's been on a constant rise ever since. Public areas, especially like public transportation, has become just increasingly worse. Places like LA and New York, don't even forget about it. You got this guy, Jordan Neely, who was like 30 already at this point. They're making him seem like he's so young. 40 prior arrests this guy has. This guy has like 40 prior arrests. Nothing to sneeze at either. And they're talking about this guy's full of mental health problems. He's suffering from mental health. He's having a mental health episode, which is a funny way to call someone who's just pure evil. It's just a nasty person. What do you call someone who goes into a subway and yells out, "I'm going to kill people, and I don't care if the cops come. I don't care if I get arrested today, and I don't care if I die"? What do you call someone like that? Sure, you could maybe say mental health episode. You could say that, but that's what you call a criminal. That's what you call a selfish, evil, deranged person who does not care about the public, does not care about himself or others. That's what you call that person. It's really so weird how when you say the word criminal, I swear it's like people think when you hear the word criminal that you're supposed to see something like this. You're supposed to see something like this, or some thug with gold, and he's like, yeah, see, it's like, and he's got like a bunch of henchmen and money, and he's got Tommy guns, or it's like some thug with beanies, and he's got guns and money and drugs and money. It's like, yeah, it's like we think that villains, when we think the word villain, we think this. No, a villain is like a weak person. A villain is the homeless person with the broken leg crying on the street saying, "Please help me, I really need help." Like, yeah, sometimes there could be individual instances of someone really needing help, but like I'm trying to say is the villain is the weak looking one. That's the villain usually, actually. The villain is the victim, the one that looks like a victim. The one crying is the one that's going to stab you in the back. We got psyoped or something because people don't think that a villain could cry, that a villain can be destitute in a gutter. So Daniel Penny subdues this Jordan Neely. And Neely actually ends up still being alive when the cops come. Did you know this little tidbit of information? I didn't know this. Jordan Neely, according to the Daily Wire, was alive when police arrived. And get this, police and first responders refused to give mouth-to-mouth, which may have been a life-saving measure for Jordan Neely. First responders refused to give him mouth-to-mouth because he was filthy. And I don't hear anybody saying the law enforcement were heartless. They were saying Daniel Penny all over that court case that why did you not care about his humanity, they were asking him. What about the first responders? Did they not care about Jordan Neely's humanity? No, see, that's not important because we already got the white guy choking the black guy to death. So Penny was facing charges of manslaughter and criminally negligent homicide, and on top of that, he was being sued civilly by the family. So here's the news. Daniel Penny found not guilty in chokehold death of Jordan Neely. He was acquitted Monday of a criminally negligent homicide. So take that in because the news came in that he was acquitted of the manslaughter charge. But here's the full news. He was also acquitted of the criminally negligent homicide charge, which would have brought maybe around 4 years as opposed to like the 20 plus of the other one, if not more. So Monday, acquitted of criminally negligent homicide in the chokehold death of Jordan Neely. The decision on the fifth day of deliberations came after the jury deadlocked Friday on the more serious charge of manslaughter, leading the judge to dismiss it. Many were thinking that this was a move to get the jury out of deadlock so they could just get to the second charge and hopefully just get a guilty verdict on that. Just move that along. They acquitted him for that as well. The jury foreperson read the not guilty verdict. Some observers in the courtroom applauded. Others began to audibly sob and yell, including Neely's father, who was escorted out. "This is America. That is the sound of black pain," one person said outside the courtroom in Lower Manhattan to the reaction. So ridiculous. Chants of "no justice, no peace" could be heard echoing from outside. And the court case itself was full of just disgusting, what shall we call it? Barely justice. They said, why didn't you care about his humanity? They're portraying Neely as someone that could have been easily restrained without choking him to death. Defense attorneys would argue that there's something glaringly missing from Daniel Penny's statement. Any regret. We don't see any regret or any remorse or any self-reflection. He never expressed any sorrow about the man's death. And, you know, it's like I said earlier, they want people to be depressed and sad, to express fake emotion about someone who already died, and not care at all that nobody was there for this person who was experiencing homelessness for much longer than that one moment where he got himself killed. And really, this boils down to the clearest thing about it, which is this is about race. You know, in America, there are protected classes. There are literally full-on protected classes that you can't criticize, you can't arrest, you can't deny work, deny homes or services. You just have to give them stuff, and others have to give it to them. They just have to. It shows how evil everyone is. You know, they say Neely should be alive right now. He just should be alive. Why? He just should be alive. Why? Why would he deserve such a thing? You know, their assumption comes from how they really view Neely. They view him as a victim, and which means they don't have any love for him. They saw him as a subhuman, as a lesser person who was wasn't enough of a person to take care of himself, and that he wasn't enough of a person that you could charge him for basic things like not for hating his fellow man and hating himself, which clearly was his life was proof of that. Neely's life was proof of this. And they'll extend that further. They'll say they'll believe that everyone deserves to live. Everyone deserves a long life. They deserve not to be denied health care, for example. And they're lying. You know, why start in the middle of a story if this wasn't evil? Why would you have to leave out the 40 arrests and leave out how evil Neely was? How little he cared about himself and others. He clearly did not care about himself or others at all. In fact, had contempt for them, was ready to hurt them by his own admission. Why would you have to start in the middle of a story if he wasn't evil? You know, homeless people suck. They're evil. And like I said earlier, you think a villain doesn't look like a destitute, filthy person on the streets. That's just a victim. You're wrong. The SF Chronicle, the San Francisco Chronicle, covered what happens when you just simply give the homeless housing in this article where they go over just that. A program that gave homeless people housing. They just gave them housing. Turns out they end up living in squalor. They fight and kill each other. They die of drug overdoses. Let's get into this a little bit. This is the SF Chronicle on what I was talking about. Let me duplicate this and read it over here. For 2 years, this has been Pauline Levinson's home, a rundown century-old hotel in the Tenderloin, where a rodent infestation became so severe that she pitched a tent inside her room to keep the mice away, where residents have threatened each other with knives, crowbars, and guns, sometimes drawing police to the building several times a day, where since 2020 at least 9 people have died of drug overdoses. One man was discovered only after a foul stench seeped from his room into the hall. Harrowing stuff. Here's one individual living in squalor. Mission Hotel resident Anthony Alexander said a cat jumped into his window knowing there would be mice to catch in his room. More of this from this post. Another individual here. More reports. Residents have threatened to kill staff members, chase them with metal pipes, lit fires inside rooms, incident reports show. At the Henry Hotel on 6th Street, a tenant was hospitalized after a neighbor, for a second time, streamed bug spray into their eyes, public records show. Last May, less than a mile away at the Winton Hotel, a resident slashed another tenant's face with a knife, leaving a trail of blood out of the building. Much of the instability stems from a small group of tenants who do not receive the support they need. This article blames someone else again instead of the evil people themselves. They committed crimes, but they were homeless. In this case, they're homeless. So, I don't know. They're not evil. They're apparently not evil. See, there's everything wrong with the country. All of it. People revealing themselves to be evil sympathizers, completely sympathizing with the worst amongst us. They venerate and worship what they believe to be the weakest among us. You know, you hear that from the Catholics. Oh, the weakest among us. But they'll totally misuse the Bible and say that's why homeless people and criminals and violent people are somehow victims and we should care for them, the Catholics, they'll say. Or these seculars or whoever else, they'll say they'll feel bad for the homeless who are experiencing homelessness, they'll call it. They're venerating the worst among us, worshiping the most evil among us, the laziest, the most most chaotic, the most deranged, the most emotional, the angriest, those who believe in their thoughts the most addicted and selfish and weak people among us. Society is quite literally upside down and no one can even tell. It's a spiritual battle. It really is a spiritual battle. Society is right in front of us, upside down. Criminals we're told criminals are victims. And no one can even tell. It's wild. It's so wild. So, that's everything wrong with the country. Everything, how much it's changed. I used to ride the bus alone. I remember I was taught actually how to ride the bus alone. I remember, how old was I? Canada. I must have been like 11 or 12. I was pretty young. My mom shows me the bus route. We take the bus route together the first time. The next time, I take the bus route by myself, quote unquote. I have the money, I have the bus ticket, and she gets on the bus after me and sits far away from me. And I take the whole bus route by myself. After that day, I was riding around the whole city, Mississauga, Toronto. I was riding to school on the bus, buying my own tickets, taking the subways all over the city, going all sorts of places, staying out later than I should, getting in trouble, going way farther than family even considered. I used to ride everywhere like that. So you got to consider how much these things, what's harder to quantify, how much the world has changed, the world you grew up in, and what politicians have allowed out of their own corruption. So yeah, criminals emboldened. And like I was saying earlier, this really reveals the dark hearts of people, how much they're really judging, how much the worst judgers of all are the people who say, don't discriminate, don't judge. That homeless person is just experiencing homelessness. They're just the worst among us. They're just the least of us. And Jesus said, the least of us, if you do this to the least of us, those people are the most judgmental. And you know this because they have judged the homeless people and all these people and Jordan Neely as victims, as less than them. These black people and families and allies and white people, liberals and all those people have judged America as heartless and racist and hateful against homeless people. These families are coming out trying to sue Daniel Penny, and they're all over. Black Lives Matter and others are out there saying he's not a hero and he's just being nasty and evil out there. And you wonder, how can this disorder be allowed in America? How can this disorder exist where someone can be in a metal tube and you're just supposed to not do anything, even if they are threatening with violence? Well, because of racism, literally concepts like that. You can't have law and order because it'd be racist to do so. So yeah, this reveals just how judgmental they are, and they don't seem it too, because they're protecting the homeless, they're protecting the minorities, the least among us. there's like a mafia. There's like, you want to talk about cartels and mafia, the healthcare industry. You know what's a cartel, a mafia? The diversity industry. You can't have, even if you didn't want to live amongst people like this. Let's say you were like, you know what, you can be diverse, you could do whatever you want, but I'm going to go live in a white neighborhood. I'm going to live in a neighborhood with no crime. I'm going to live in a clean neighborhood. You can't do that either. You're not allowed. That's the craziest thing. I'm learning about how the Fair Housing Act, there's like a federal Fair Housing Act which prohibits discrimination in housing based on race. You start saying, I don't want criminals around here, you could see how a case can be brought up against you if you're a landlord or otherwise, that you're discriminating. If a whole city or housing authority is found to be enacting policy or practices that result in discriminatory housing patterns, they may face lawsuits. Section 8, a federal program. Cities are not required to implement Section 8, but if they resist affordable housing, they could face legal challenges. And you know this from different recent controversies, Buckhead in Atlanta and other cities and municipalities in America that have wanted to use zoning to keep certain types of people outside of their neighborhood. And that's racist. You can't do that. It's like you're stuck. Incredible. So that's pretty much the whole spiel on Daniel Penny and the lawlessness in America and just what people are okay with. What a mess. The housing diversity mafia. That's pretty much it. Daniel Penny. So yeah, that's what I wanted to report on. That's pretty much the whole spiel, the whole shebang. We've turned society upside down. So it shouldn't be a surprise with how things are happening, and things won't get better until people wake up to that they are not loving, that they are hateful, and the people they're protecting are not victims. They're evil. They're evil and some of the worst people. All right, so we did it. I think we did it. We went right through that. It felt like way longer, but we're only an hour in. But that's really the whole message. That's really the clips. We farmed the clips, okay? Call me, 888-775-3773 if you want to talk about something else. If you want to argue, if you disagree, we'll get to you first. But that's the farming. That's the clips. What can I say? That's all of it. What are y'all thinking? Let's get into the super chats and the chat and see what y'all are saying about this. Let's do that. How about we do that? Let's see what the people are saying about this. buymeacoffee.com/buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby if you want to support. Appreciate all the super chats also on YouTube. Let's get through them. Let's go. Starting with Lin Yan Chin. Thank you so much. Says, hey. Oh, wait. I don't think I read this one from 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎. What happened with all the betas that called this morning on JLP? They were all something whipped, making excuses for their demonic partner's questionable behavior. Thank you, 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎, for the super chat and the support. Very nice. Lin Yan Chin with a super chat says, hey, can you get Bill to critique some of the mess I composed in my madness and see if he can make sense of it? He is free to ridicule and destroy it. Now, I don't know exactly what you're talking about, Lin Yan Chin. Some of the mess I composed in my madness. Are you talking about Facebook? I'm not sure what you're talking about. And Bill's not here with us. You'll have to wait till we have Bill back in the studio. John T. Psycho with a super chat says, no need to ever play Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah, I didn't quite play that too much. I don't really play much of anything. But I do like the vibe of cyberpunk stuff. It's always been an enjoyable genre for me in terms of just the aesthetics. It's just, bleak, a bleak future, a bleak, technologically advanced and visually beautiful future where death is casual and violence is casual, where the third world is imported so much that the Second Amendment has to be upgraded. It's a different world. But anyways, thanks for the super chat, John T. Psycho. Carver with the super chat says he asked for a black doctor, but got a black. He asked for a back doctor, but got a black doctor. Some super chats from Carver. Thank you. Lin Yan Chin with the super chat says, since you've already approved / screened it, please play my 68-second message on breath. The message from Saturday. I want to see Bill reacting to it if possible. Breath is life, but Bill's not here. We might have to save this, Lin Yan Chin, for when Bill is here. Make sure to remind me. I'd be happy to play those for Bill. Very nice. We got more super chats here from John T. Psychos. Thank you so much. Says, Nick is so hot right now. Appreciate it. He's got a couple here. He says, blue skies is what Willie Nelson saw after prison. A little joke for you. Another one says, Nick, you are a intelligent one. Thank you for that, John T. Psycho. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching. He also says, bathing in black waters, deeper than darkest black, immersed in shifting and rearranging shapes, vaguely symbolic. Black principles with no vision. 666. Vague and poetic. Thank you, John T. Psycho, for the super chats and the support. I do appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Milda Grew on Rumble. Rock on. Rumble.com/American Anchor, baby. DLive.tv. Aries 1 with all damn lemons. And all the support from all the D-Livers. Love it. Thank you so much, everybody. Let's see what else. Let's see what the chat is saying. What are y'all saying about everything so far? 888-775-3773 if you want to get involved in the convo. I got one more silly thing we can report on, but that's pretty much the topics for today. Those are pretty much what I had to say. That's pretty much what I had to say today. All right, so we're in the chat. We are in the chat. What is the chat saying right now? Linyan, Bill, where you at? Bill, can you hear me? Are you in the studio? Are you in the office? Come in here. Linyan Chin has stuff to show you. We must go through this. You know, Linyan Chin, I was trying to tell you, Bill was impressed by at least some part of Bill was impressed by your insight. You know, Lin Yan Chin, he can be a pretty insightful guy. He can be a pretty deep guy. I feel like John TP's super is a devilish incantation that will call down curses upon ourselves for reading it in our heads or out loud. Yeah, what the? You got devil numbers in here? What the? John T. Psycho? Yeah, I just read that and didn't even think about it. Bathing in black waters deeper than darkest black, immersed in shifting and rearranging. And here I am repeating it again. Doubling up on the incantation. I disavow, I cancel all such words in the name of Jesus Christ. Based Penny, what's up, Lord Spike Protein? Always a pleasure. What's up, Mana? Motley, attractive Snake Pit, Chatard. Flat Earth Victory, Bobby Blanco, he black. Very cool. What do you think, alias name? Pretty punctual? You think your baby is operating on a high level right now? I don't think you need to punish me, alias name. He's always trying to put me in timeout, and I may deserve it. I may need a timeout. Lin Yan Chin wishes for me to focus, maybe even wishes for my breath to calm. Sorry, Lin Yan Chin, I'm just now paying attention to that because of you. Bringing my mind and body, centering and slowing my breath, for breath is life. And Lin Yan Chin can read your spirit, your very soul through this breath. In biblical times, did they have these kinds of homeless people? That's a good question, Kevin Howe. I had made a note for myself to look into that, but I didn't have the time. On how homelessness was dealt with in the past. We might have to leave that for another day. Reese's vid says, perfect time to play Where My Country Gone. That might be copyright, though. So true, he black. No one venerates the poor Nick. Instead, they venerate homeless people. I'm with you, he black. Time to put the anchor baby on a pedestal. Okay, maybe don't do that. Homeless people are the weakest link, Matthew. Incredible. Tenderloin is such a weird juxtaposition of Tartarian structures and squalor. What the heck is Tenderloin? Is that a place in California? Tenderloin, California. It's Tenderloin, San Francisco. The Tenderloin. So it's a neighborhood. Okay. Well, imagine that. Nick, have a show where healthcare workers call in. They can tell you the ugly side of healthcare insurance companies. I'm sure it's ugly. I'm sure it is. And I'd love to, I'd be happy to have callers and people calling in or even doing a show on just how nasty it is, I'm sure. It's just such an easy thing to say. Corporations are greedy and evil. But it's like they're also providing health care and providing insurance where otherwise it'd be even worse. So it's like, you see what I'm trying to say here? It's like easy to just say greedy. When what you're doing by pointing out the greed in that industry, you're also making a declaration of what must be fixed. And what must be fixed is the human heart. And if you think the only problem is a greedy CEO, then you really don't understand the deepness of the wickedness of the human heart. You wouldn't even know where to first see it in yourself. So then, ergo, you wouldn't even know the first thing on how to fix this healthcare industry you think is so evil. So that's kind of what gets me. But sure, yeah, there's greedy CEOs and they're probably doing evil things to the poor people. Fine. I can agree with that. Sincerely. Yeah. Let's see what else y'all saying. Penny's a stand-up guy based on that police interview clip. So true. He was just being interviewed by the police, and he's saying he was pretty stand-up. Yeah, you're right, Hake. In fact, maybe we can find it. He seemed pretty level-headed, measured. There's no way from this that you could gather that he was trying to kill the guy. In fact, he even says, I wasn't trying to kill the guy. That's just so clear.
This is where you're at right now.
Cool.
How you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Okay. Very good. I'm doing well.
Yeah.
You served in the Marine Corps then?
I did, yeah.
I served in the Marine Corps.
Oh, nice.
Got my little desk before the sun attack.
There you go. Nice, man.
What you doing? What was your MOS in the
I was in 0351.
I was an 0331.
Oh, cool. Michigan. Yeah, weapons platoon. Nice, man.
Yeah.
I was not military, so I don't know what that stuff is.
It's like another language.
3rd Battalion, 6th Marines.
Okay, there you go. 36.
96 to 2000.
Nice, man.
2 med floats. Did my thing, and then I ended up here. Now I got close to 22 years here now, man.
Good pension coming up.
Yeah, man.
I grew up in Queens as well.
Nice.
Nice. That's good, Daniel. Anyway, listen, Daniel, so we want to talk to you about what happened today.
Sure.
Thank you for sticking around.
Yeah.
And being cooperative.
Absolutely.
And hoorah, serving in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
But anyway, before we speak to you about today, we have to read you your rights.
Sure,
okay?
absolutely.
So I'm going to read you your rights. After each question, I'm going to say, do you understand? Say yes or no in a loud, clear voice. You got to say yes or no. You can't just nod your head. I got to hear it, okay?
Okay.
You have the right to remain silent and refuse to answer questions.
You getting it. We're just kind of rolling through this a little bit.
I understand.
But like the title of this video says, I'm not trying to kill the guy. Daniel Penny's first interrogation. I mean, it's just so clear he really wasn't.
Some guy came.
And that's what this was. This was a man. This was a what's it called? Lynch mob trying to say that he wanted to kill him. And that's the craziest part of this.
I don't care. I don't do this. At that point, I looked to the person next to me like, hey, just hang on to this phone for me. I had my headphones in, took it off, and just kind of grabbed him from behind because he came in. Just to because he was acting like a lunatic, like a crazy person. So, and he was rolling around the floor, and at that point the train stopped. I was like, someone call the cops, and he's still like rolling around, still going crazy. Had 2 other guys kind of help me, just kind of keep him from going nuts, and yeah, that's when you guys came.
Okay. Did he seem like he was on something? Did he
Yeah,
seem
absolutely.
Intoxicated, high?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that K2 that they're smoking, pushing people in front, like these people are going crazy. So
he seemed off his lid, basically.
A little bit, yeah.
Now explain the interaction you had with him.
So I came up. He had his back turned to me, and I just kind of got him in a hold, got him to the ground. He's still like squirming around and still, going.
So yeah, that's a little bit of that. He was never trying to kill the guy, and the world tried to make it seem like it was. So evil. But let's see what my caller has to say about this or anything else. We got a caller here who's been waiting. Appreciate the patience. Your name and where you calling from? Oh, we got doggies. Hello,
John
caller.
From Houston.
What's up, John?
John from
How you
Houston.
doing, sir? How you doing, man?
Unlike Daniel Penny, I'm doing well, but I guess that's not true. He's doing well now.
Nice.
But he
nice
was
to hear
saying
from you,
that
John.
I'm
Go
doing
ahead.
well. He was saying I'm doing well, and that I was prompted by the investigation to call into the show.
Nice. Thank you.
But when they asked him how he's doing, he said he's doing well. And it's like, no, you're kind of not doing well.
Are you on speakerphone?
Can you hear an echo? Do I got to call back or?
No, you're fine. You're saying, so Daniel Penny said he was doing well?
That, and you're not supposed to talk to the police,
And so you're saying he's not doing well. Go from there.
Well, I was just, he's doing well now. Now that he's been acquitted in trial.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God, which I'm so happy.
Nice. Yeah, right on.
But you're not supposed to talk to the police.
And why do you say that?
Because, anything you say can be used against you.
True.
Yeah. And if, you know that if they don't read your Miranda rights, where they say you have the right to remain silent, you can be acquitted.
True, right? That's part of the Miranda rights. If you're not read that, it can be anything that happens after that can be pretty bad if they're trying to pin something on you. I got you, man. Z, I gotta let you go because there's the dog barking and you might be, and it sounds like there's too much noise. Is there a point you wanted to make quick before I let you go? It's just too much noise and the dog barking. No problem. You'll have to call me back some other time.
It's my phone. It's immersed in the deepest.
It's no problem.
Hell.
It's no problem, man.
Where my connection is.
No problem. It's just too much noise. Call me again.
All right.
888-775-3773. Yeah, that's pretty much it, folks. What can I say? That's pretty much it. That's the super chats. That's the topics. We farmed the clips. Appreciate the patience. I know we talked about Danny Penny again, but we're farming, folks. We are farming this channel. Let's go. I got something else for you, though. Got something more on the sillier side. They're calling it the final experiment. You hear about this? The final experiment is upon us. The final experiment is upon us. A pastor from Colorado hopes to end the debate over the shape of the earth to bring both. This pastor and it has a plan to bring both flat earthers and globe earthers to Antarctica on December 14th, just a couple days from now. 4 flat earthers and 4 globe earthers will fly to Antarctica for what is being labeled the final experiment. It's the final experiment. On the globe, Antarctica is an island continent at the southernmost part of the world. But on a flat Earth, Antarctica is an ice wall that encircles all the other continents and holds in all the world's oceans. For years, flat earthers have said that Antarctica holds the key to proving that the Earth is flat. But not a single flat earther has ever been to Antarctica. The final experiment. Now, why not? Why haven't they been to Antarctica? Well, the flat earthers say the Antarctic Treaty of 1959 prevents them from going. One of the reasons they believe the Antarctic Treaty was put in place was to specifically prevent people from visiting Antarctica during the summer, which is right now in the southern hemisphere. You see, visiting Antarctica in the summer is important because on the globe, the sun should not set in much of Antarctica during the summer due to the tilt of the Earth. But on a flat Earth, since Antarctica is an ice wall encircling the whole world, the sun must rise and set each day. It could never circle the sky in all 24 hours like it does in Antarctica. You understand? If during the summer, the sun... This is Antarctica. The sun stays here. The sun goes like this and the sun never sets if you're in Antarctica. On the globe, on the flat Earth, it sets. On the flat Earth, it does go away. There's no way the sun could stay local on an ice wall that encircles the whole world. So on December 14th, this pastor and other 8 participants of the final experiment for flat earthers, for globetards, they don't say globetards, I do, will fly with Antarctic Logistics and Expeditions to Union Glacier, Antarctica. As soon as they get off the plane and onto the ice, the clock will start. For the next 24 hours, they will monitor and film the sun, and if it stays in the sky for 24 hours, the globe is confirmed. The real question is, will the flat earthers change their mind? Whoa! It's getting funky. Will the sun stay in one place for 24 hours? Is it flat? Is it round? The experiment, they say, to put it all to rest. I've heard that this doesn't necessarily put it to rest either, though, even if the sun stays in one area. So what do y'all think? Will it be streamed? I don't know, but we'll definitely be watching for the results of said experiment. The final experiment. Is it true?
The average person sees around...
Is it flat? Is it round? We will be watching with bated breath. You know we will.
Flat earthers.
If you don't know, NASA makes clouds.
And globe earthers.
Where's the container? No. Stop.
To Antarctica this month.
I think already there's some tension.
There's no way you can get a spinning heliocentric globe out of anything in the Bible.
When you looked at the planet, what did it look like?
It looks round, folks.
What does the Bible actually say?
We are doing something that I don't think has ever been done before.
The final experiment. Will going to Antarctica finally prove that the flat earthers are wrong? Welcome. My name's Danny Faulkner. I have with me today Rocket Rob Webb. Say hi, Rob.
Hi, Rob.
And we're here at the Creation Museum. But, Rob, we're going to interview someone that's off-site today while we're talking about...
We have in common with the flat earthers when it comes to this experiment, and that is none of us have been to Antarctica. So it's not like we've been there and we've seen it, and that's where our confidence is coming from. Our confidence is coming from the reality that we live on a globe. It's coming from we understand the globe model better than we ever have in human history. And so, yes, the confidence level on one side versus the other does have a drastic difference. And I think that's something significant for people to consider as we journey to the south here in a couple weeks.
I just want to know, what made you say one day, I think it'd be a good idea to take people down to Antarctica to settle this debate? Was there a moment or a situation that really sparked?
Bro, That's really your question? I'm such a critic, such a little critic. It's like people thinking the world is flat was the moment. How about that for a moment, or when I wanted to prove that it was round?
That we need to be headed in the body of
How did that make you feel? All right, so yeah, the final experiment.
24-hour sun in the north.
Antarctica in the middle of the map. Have you seen that?
I have, yes. And that's a fascinating one because it creates two problems for them. The first one is they have already acknowledged that there's a 24-hour sun in the north in the Arctic Circle, and they've verified that all those videos are real. The second issue is that they lose their container. So flat earthers love to say that water needs a container. And so in their model, the container is Antarctica, this ice wall. So now you've got water without a container. So it doesn't really work to flip it.
And so this is quite an ambitious project, I would say, Will. And so what are some of the biggest challenges you're facing right now with putting this project together?
It's been difficult. The biggest challenge so far...
I want to hear this. Hold on.
...has been just getting, the flat earth side excited about it. Multiple flat earthers were offered an all expenses paid trip to Antarctica to go with us. They turned it down. And so it's been difficult on their side, just kind of having an honest conversation about this.
I really hope it's an ice wall. That would be dope. Wouldn't that be dope? That would just be fun. It'd just be cool. It's just like, oh, wow. So it's an ice wall and it's a container for the water. That'd be, wow. That's amazing. So anyways, we'll be watching out for that, the final experiment. I bet you, the funny thing about that is I bet you that still won't convince people. That's the funny thing about belief. It's something you hold on to. You don't really change people's minds. It's not a thing that exists. It's a funny thing. So yeah, the final experiment, very amazing. Let's get to this caller who's been waiting patiently. Thank you so much, caller. Your name and where are you calling from?
Yo, it's Steve in Ohio.
Steve, Ohio. A pleasure, sir. Welcome. How you doing? Go ahead.
Yeah. What's up, Anger Baby, man?
Hey.
Love the show. Hey, I like it a little more formal when you're in the shop and everything.
Thank you. Yes. In the chair. I like it too.
Yeah, it's more presidential for your run in 28.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, the whole flat Earth thing. I'm finally happy that these flat Earthers are going to meet their final solution pretty soon.
I disavow.
No, I meant
final experiment.
Final experiment. Sorry. Yeah, scratch that from the record.
Right.
No, it's going to be pretty cool. Hopefully, they can produce something that's not like a CGI makeup, and maybe it can be like authentic footage, and then maybe the flat earthers can finally stop trying to identify. That's something I've been working on too, man. It's like latching onto these identities, and it's like you think you've got rid of all of them, but then there's still some where it's just like that conversation happens, and you're like, oh man, I'm still holding on to that,
And how do you know that you are?
Just seeing it, or it'll spark an emotion, or
yep,
that thought will be like a path that's like, oh, just walk this way, and then you're like, no, behind me, Satan. I usually curse them out. I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
That's actually a good description of it, man. Right on. I think that's a good sign. It definitely sparks an emotion in you, and it takes you down a path that you normally wouldn't be going down. I think that's a great way of describing that for the listeners who might be wrestling with that themselves.
Do you feel like it's a bad thing that I'll call Satan gay and stuff? I don't know.
I don't know. It seems kind of like it depends on how you're doing that, I guess. I really don't know.
I mean, it's like I wake up.
I feel like it sounds a little schoolyardy to me, and I have no problem with that. You know what I mean? Whatever, you homo. Get away from me.
Bro, I stretch real deep, and I'm like, oh, Satan's a homo. And, I get on with my day,
No, there's something schoolyardy kind of funny about that. I would say, I mean, if you're really sincerely asking me about what I think about that, I mean, I really don't, not much. But if I had to, since you asked me, if I had to throw in any 2 cents on that, I'd be like, even eventually, you know, don't even rely on that. You know, we're supposed to just see evil and see that it has no power. If it has no power, we don't need to swear at it and call it anything. But yeah, if I had to put in any opinion, I'll say that. But I don't really, I wouldn't even think too much on that either.
No, definitely deep. I mean, it's like quicksand is like, I'm equating all of it to is like, if you keep moving and struggling, it'll pull you down. But if you stay still, at least you won't sink, you know?
Mm. Yeah. It's not supposed to have any power. So reacting at all is expressing that it does have power.
True. Yeah, no, and I appreciate what you and Bond do, man. You guys are on point all the time, dude. Listen all the time and stuff. It's pretty dope.
Let's go, man. Thanks for the support always. Appreciate you being there. Right on, man.
Yeah, I want to, could we give another caller, or can we talk about Neely real quick?
No, let's do it. Go ahead.
All right, so, you know, I'll roll BJJ, like jiu-jitsu and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
I think I talked about it.
For sure.
Yeah, that chokehold he had him in, it's like super controlled. It's, you know, I don't see how anyone can like misinterpret it. Like, if you've ever been like using it, you know, like what resistance to apply. Like he was saying, like, you know, he's giving me this much tension, I'll apply this much. You know, it's just silly what they're trying to stir up. But I think what they're doing is all starting to backfire because there's so much heat cooking in other kitchens. I don't know if maybe I'm getting it wrong, but I think like they're trying to whip up the old playbook, but there's just too much heat, you know, over here, so no one's even looking at that old stuff, you know.
I think you're right, man. I think these levers of power, the justice system, the DAs, the corporations, they really are really weak when you think about it. And as soon as the wind changes direction, they're ready to flip up. They're ready to acquit Daniel Penny. They're ready to say no more DEI at their companies. You know what I mean? So they really are quite weak, opportunistic kind of type thinking going on over there. Really not that deep.
I mean, that wraps into your monologue, too.
Yeah.
You know, like, the weak one is actually the villain.
So true. Yep.
So true, bro.
Right on, man. Thanks for that. That's good. That'll be good for the clip, tying it in. Thank you.
All right, dope. Yeah, thanks for everything you do, man. Keep rocking.
Always, man. Call me again, sir. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
888-775-3773. Might as well call now if you want to talk to the anchor, baby, because we did the topics, the super chats, the calls. I went into chat and tried to see what y'all are saying. I'm trying to interact here. We done squeezed almost every drop out of this show. You better call in now because we squeezed every drop out of the show, I think. So we will be wrapping up very soon, okay? So if you want to call, if you want to get something off your chest, you better do it now. 888-775-3773 because there ain't no more drops coming out, folks. There ain't no more drops. We done juiced it. Old Saucy, thank you so much for being there on rumble.com/anchorbaby, /American Anchor Baby. Never talk to the cops, they say. Don't talk to the coppers. Don't talk to the coppers. Never do it. Hey, Kale, what do you mean I forsaken you? Oh, you must be talking about a super chat. Let's see. The super chats, Kale Samogi with a super chat says, never, ever, ever talk to the cops. A little bit of advice from the chat for you. The cow has been milked, Dank Daddy. So true. What can we say? Peak Nick monologue. Hey, Aries, right on. Thank you so much for that. Very nice. People are liking it. Very cool. We're making the clips, folks. Very cool. 888-775-3773. Better do it now. Because we're leaving the rest for tomorrow. We want to definitely flesh this out. I know I said we were going to get into Syria, but we're going to have to leave that out. Okay, we might get into that sometime this week. But there's other things to get into. There's other things to get into. Some going-ons. The weakness of conservative men is always a good one. Like, it's a mess out here. What else? All right, y'all. Let's see here. The final experiment. We done did it, folks. Come on. Let's see what chat is saying. His half-baked show. These clips won't be half-baked. Okay? And y'all are part of it. So say hello. Say hello, YouTube, in the chat. Omid, the PR guy. Are you Arab Batman riding a camel in to save 𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒍𝒔 Gotham from 𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒏 Joker? That's a funny question from Lin Yen Chin. Very cool. Shout out Omid in the chat. I feel like if Satan has a sexuality, he'd be way homo. You know, some of the best depictions of Satan are like, you know, like think about him. Think about him from Powerpuff Girls. You remember him? Powerpuff Girls? Remember him? He was like a Satan character. But remember how he used to speak and wear frilly tutus? And the way the speech.
But what's this? It appears our girls are secretly being monitored. But by who? Oh no, not... I can't say it! This is a villain so evil, so sinister, so horrible.
With like thigh-high boots and frills and lipstick, but he's a guy. This is a really well-written villain if you think about it. Gendry Tartakovsky, creator of Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Laboratory, Samurai Jack. Really a genius. That Satan would have, I mean, obviously he's drawing from, I'm sure, his deep cultural knowledge of all the different cultures that have depicted Satan like this. But Gendry Tartakovsky, what a mind, what a beautiful mind. But kind of twisted, still kind of twisted though.
That even the utterance of his name strikes fear into the hearts of men. The only safe way to refer to this king of darkness is simply
him. Oh, we didn't even get to hear him. Hold up. Him. We didn't even get to hear him. And he talks like a woman, like effeminate.
Girls are secretly being monitored. But
girls fight. I think you should fight more often. You don't say. Well, to whom might I be speaking?
This is Belly.
Belly who?
Big Belly from the Gangrene Gang. Who is...
The Green Gang. Gendry's actually so funny. All the villains from Powerpuff Girls are perfect. The amoebas, the amoeba gang, like the characters he made are perfect. So anyways, that's pretty much the show, folks. That's pretty much it from me. We did it. We did the folks. We did the shows. We did the topics, the super chats, and that's pretty much it. Nobody's calling in. That's the show, folks. I'm back tomorrow for more. We got more stuff to talk about on a fine Wednesday. We got Manhood Hour on the JLP show and the rest of the Bond Network. So again, always, the support is always appreciated. I'll be back with you tomorrow for more show. That's it for me. Take care. Bye. See you tomorrow.